7.4 on the clock. Nesbitt with this. Lots of time. Agbim. They have to shoot a three. Step back.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Basketball in the Mountains. I am your host, as always, Tyler King, the college sports reporter for the Denver Gazette. And although we are in the midst of football season, and as everyone who follows my YouTube channel is well aware of, got a lot of Buffs coverage, Rams coverage over there. But today we are back getting ready for the 2025-26 college basketball season. I mentioned the last time we did a podcast with Troy Finnegan, that little summer catch-up video or episode that we did, that I was going to try to do as many season preview individual episodes as possible for all the teams here in the Mountain Time Zone. Of course, with the NBA season starting up later this month in a couple weeks, we're going to hit on Nuggets, we're going to hit on Jazz, we're going to hit on Suns, all of that stuff before the season starts. But one of the other, I've said this many times since I started this podcast back in January, February, that I wanted to do this because I wanted to spotlight all of the great college programs in the Mountain Time Zone, because there are plenty of them, whether it's, the big time programs that are in the Big 12, all the Mountain West programs, even down to programs like Utah Valley, Montana, all the Big Sky programs, all that kind of stuff. So there's so many teams that I want to talk about, and we'll get to them as many as we can before the season, and hopefully all of them throughout the season as well, because it's going to be a really, really fun season of college basketball in the Mountain Time Zone, at least, my biased opinion, but that's what I believe. And to kick it off, I'm so excited to kick off our 25-26 season preview series with a coaching guest. And as you can guess with the intro video from today's podcast, we are starting off with Coach Sundance Wicks of the Wyoming Cowboys. Coach Wicks, how you doing?
Man, it's a pleasure to be on here, Tyler. We just got done wrapping up a little 2-hour practice here on a nice Wednesday, and folks are getting after it up here in Cowboy Country, man. 7,220 feet of altitude advantage. We're getting after it, brother.
Yeah, honestly, there's no better place for us to start our season preview series with the highest elevation program in the country, with you guys up there, like you said, at 7,220. I mean, it is. I'm going to be up there probably in 2 weeks or so for the football game, for the border war football game between the Pokes and the Rams, which will be fun. But, looking forward to the hoop season as well. Obviously, for you heading into year 2 as the head coach up in Laramie, just kind of what has you excited, and maybe what did you learn the most from year 1 as the head coach of a program you obviously have history with, back in the Mountain West, all that kind of stuff. What was your biggest takeaway from year 1 that has you so excited for year 2 here?
Well, yeah, you got me in all the feels here with that Obi Agbim shot against Fresno right there. Right? So it was fun to reminisce on those moments. It's funny how fast we just forget like what we went through in year 1. I think the biggest thing for me was just being able to try to find the identity that's going to help us be successful in the Mountain West with so many good teams, especially the last year, just being it's going to be a 4 or 5 bid league again, in my opinion. This league is really good. It's always been really good. And so there's a lot of Goliaths out there, right? And I kind of liken us to David in that sense. And so we got a slingshot, and we got to find out what our slingshot is. You can't play like everybody else in this league. You have to look at what you have. You got to recruit to your identity. For us, we're going to use altitude as an advantage, Tyler. We're going to pick up our pace a little bit more. We were pretty stingy last year in our time of possession and how we wanted to control the pace and tempo, but we're going to try to steal possessions this year. We're going to try to play a faster game. I just think with the type of players that we have on our roster this year, skill, speed, athleticism, scrappiness, it just bodes well for us. We're not going to be able to play smash mouth football this year. We're going to have to kind of spread it out and have a little more West Coast offense. So I'm looking forward to the new exciting challenge for us to develop that identity, and then see what we can do in the non-conference, and then get ready for the grueling Mountain West Conference schedule.
Yeah, obviously with the Obi Agbim shot at the beginning of the episode here, there was a really good story in ESPN earlier this summer that you were quoted in, just talking about kind of the changing landscape of college basketball, and you had a great quote in there saying you didn't want to be the last guys selling CDs out of your trunk. You kind of got to adapt to the times and all that kind of stuff. So as you see guys like Obi get an extra year and move on to a great program like Baylor. I know you're super excited for him. How have you guys gone about retooling this roster and getting ready with, with 12 newcomers, 7 transfers, 5 freshmen? Just kind of what excites you about this new group you got here?
I think you got to know who you are and know who you are not, right? There's a high level of self-awareness out here. And who we are is we're going to be a team that really in a program that develops young men, right? We're still recruiting freshmen, right? True seniors in high school that are going to be freshmen. We're getting quality transfers. I mean, I say that transfers who have won, guys who have won at places, and doesn't mean they have to be the guy. I mean, you got to pay for men nowadays. If you want LeBron James, you got to go pay for him. We're going to go get guys who want the opportunity to play and opportunity to compete and opportunity to win. And that's that to me, like that, be a part of winning and building that, not buying that, but building that. That's who we're going to be. Our identity is always going to be wrapped up in that, like what we give and how we serve, not what we get. And so for us, just knowing who we are, I'm so happy for the guys that I've coached, like Noah Reynolds and Obi Agbem, and guys that have went on to places and, hit it right with the transfer portal in that sense, getting an opportunity to play at a higher level with a pretty good reward for that matter. And that's a testament to the guys that come to our program and they grow and develop and change who they are. They change their best. But then we're going to go out there and we're going to get a chance to get really highly touted freshmen, Naz Meyer, Gavin Gores, Simsat. Like we're getting really good Neil Summers, really good freshmen that you probably couldn't get at Wyoming in a lot of other times because people are really going for those portal kickbacks. And so for us, man, like we just know who we are, know we're not. We're going to be a development program, and then we're going to try to always make minutes matter. Like playing is a premium around here, not getting paid. All right, it's no fun to get paid and not play, right? So playing is a premium. It's always should be a premium. If you're a basketball player, you want to play. You don't want to go sit on the bench. And quite honestly, if you're one of those guys who likes to go sit on the bench just because you're collecting a nice check, you're probably not for us. So that matter, we want hoopers and layered ice, and we got them here right now. So I'm excited to coach these guys.
Yeah, that's always the underrated aspect of the transfer portal era. Is that's the one thing you can never take away from the smaller programs is the playing time and the minutes. Like you said, that's a great thing. And like you said, with the development, obviously you were a part of Coach Linder's staff that went to the NCAA tournament a couple years ago with guys that you developed, like a Hunter Maldonado, like a Graham Ike, who obviously had the chance to move on and has been a great player at Gonzaga since. So the one thing looking at this roster, Coach, that has really intrigued me is kind of the international flair to this group. You got guys from France, Serbia, Estonia, Canada, New Zealand, all guys from all over the U.S. too. Obviously, you got to have guys from Wyoming, Texas, California, Idaho, Indiana, Wisconsin. How did that all come together, and how cool is it to see as you guys have gotten onto the practice court in the last couple of weeks? How is that kind of blended into what the identity of this group is going to be?
Yeah, Wyoming's a unique place, right? You got to recruit guys who want to be at Wyoming. I mean, that's why the visits are so important. You come out here, you get to see it. Most people think you're walking in on a horse and buggy, right? But you pull up the Laird Ice, you got Ribbon Chop, you're driving down Grand, you see some swanky shops, you got nice places to eat. We always come away looking better than what people think when they come in here. And to that matter, like when guys come out here and they see all the facilities and resources that we have, they're like, man, I love Wyoming. So all the guys that have committed to us want to be Cowboys. We love guys who want to be Cowboys. That's a big deal, man. And so I don't matter where you're from, right? Like you can be a Cowboy at heart. You can live in Estonia and be a Cowboy. You can live in Texas and be a Cowboy. You live in Colorado and be a Cowboy. You live in California and be a Cowboy, right? I mean, there's urban Cowboys all over the place. And so for us, like we don't care where you're from. We care who you are, right? Who you are inside. And we got a group of guys, man. They're tough. They're resilient. They're gritty. They show up every day. They kick butt in workouts and practice. And then they're awesome dudes off the floor because that matters in Wyoming, man. That type of character you have, it matters. And so we're just really lucky that we have a great staff. I got a great staff of coaches who identify the right type of human beings. We call them OKCs, man, our kind of Cowboys. And we just do a really good job in the vetting process, making sure we get the right human beings in place first, because that, to be honest with you, the position doesn't matter. What matters is the person. The person matters way more than the position.
Seems like that's becoming even more important nowadays, especially for programs like yours. Now, just kind of digging into the guts of this roster. Obviously, you got two pretty key returners coming back with Matija Belic, Abu Magasa. I mean, just kind of how excited are you for those guys to see what they can do in their second years with you in your system?
Yeah, and Abu and Matija have battled some injuries here in the off season, but they're starting to crank it up right now. And to be honest with you, it's massively important to have some sort of continuity going into Mountain West play, right? The guys that have been on a roster, they've had some guys that have played, Leland Walker's played at FAU, so he understands the level a little bit, but some of these guys have no idea what they're about to walk into. And so it's kind of shock and awe at first for me in practice. I'm making the practice a lot tougher than games are going to be right now, just because these guys have no idea what they're about to go into. So Abu and Mattia have done a great job just in the locker room, culturally showing up every single day, being the right type of guys, leading the charge in that sense, because it's by example. And then plus their bodies are they're physically different than a lot of guys on our roster. I think one of our guys got hit by Mattia for the first time a couple of days ago, and he was like, "Oh, so that's what you mean by 6'7", 240. Yes, that's what I mean. Like Abu's getting doubles in practice every day. That's what you're facing in the Mountain West. You're facing guys that are big-bodied guys that can go move you with mass. So it's just important to have that type of continuity and that type of retention, and we're trying to build that for the future as well. I think if this group of guys stays together, the core group stays together for a couple of years, we got a real good chance in the Mountain West here coming up.
Yeah, you mentioned Leland Walker too. Obviously, he comes from a program that did a lot of winning, FAU the last couple years. Just kind of how quickly has he made his mark with this group? And, obviously you guys were so centered around what Obi did for you guys last year. Could he be a similar kind of just such a heliocentric guy that he really controls everything you guys want to do?
We're running a ton of ball screen stuff. People know that, right? And you got to have guys that know how to read the ball screen. They can wiggle and shake a little bit. And Leland's got all that. What I love about Leland the most, though, is just his energy and his enthusiasm, the way he leads with his voice in practice, the way he gets guys going. People that aren't energy givers really don't understand the type of drain emotionally, socially, mentally, physically that you have on your body when you're giving to everybody else. And when you're that real PG1, where you're that guy's leading with his voice, you're leading with your actions, you're counted on to take care of basketball at a high level. There's a lot of pressure. Pressure is a privilege, right? Pressure is a privilege. And there's a lot of pressure on those guys who handle the basketball for us in our program. Leland's done a great job coming in and just asserting himself. You just don't need a title to be a leader, Tyler. You don't need to be a senior. You don't need to be a junior. You just got to be an everyday accountable dude to be a leader. And Leland's been doing that for us since he got in here. And it's starting to rub off on some of our other players who are starting to lead with their voice a little bit more too. So he's been a sweet surprise and a blessing for us to be able to have in that backcourt along with Uriah Rojas. Just those guys are kicking each other's butts every single day. It's been fun to have them.
And one of the other, newcomers you got is Caden Bennett, who obviously had a great career at Quinnipiac. He's been a productive player there. Just kind of what excites you about what he can bring to the table?
Tough-minded winner, man. Tough-minded winner. I mean, I love KB. He's gritty, right? He's gritty. Doesn't always look pretty, but he's gritty. He just statistically for us every day in practice. I mean, he's showing up. I'd love him to use his voice a little bit more, but I'll tell you what, I'll take his example every day of the week, man. That guy's a winner. Won at Quinnipiac, won in high school. He knows how to win. And there's no job that he can't do. He can rebound, he can defend, he can bring the ball up the floor, he can make shots, he can finish the basket, he can Barkley you. He's a highly accountable guy, and he's tough. Like, he gets in a lot. A tough guy, man. When the tough guys are always bleeding, they're always on the floor. There's always something. He's always in the scrum. He's always in the fight. And so for me, like, you got to have those dogs out there, man. You got to have those dogs who are going to fight every single day. And Caden Bennett once again, guy who won a league championship. You got to have guys in the locker room know what it's like to go through a grueling season and can win, come out on the other side of it. And I'm just a firm believer that you don't recruit guys and everybody wants bigger roles nowadays, but you don't recruit a guy who averaged 4 points a game and say you're going to be a 20-point a game guy. You got to recruit guys that have already done something, and you know exactly what you're going to get. And KB, he's going to be a 10, 5, 3 guy every night. And so I know he can do that for us. He could probably do more, but I know at least he's going to be that accountable every night. 10 points, 5 to 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. He's going to be that guy every night. And to me, that matters because that consistency in who you are. You don't in the Mountain West. If you're doing that in the Mountain West, you're a pretty dang good player. And Caden Bennett's got a chance to be really good. And he impacts winning. He impacts winning for us every day in practice.
You mentioned some of this guys specifically with this freshman class and hoping they stick together because you feel like they could build something special. You mentioned Nas Meyer specifically. Just kind of how quickly has it been, or what's been the challenge of kind of getting those guys up to speed right away heading into the season? And how many guys do you feel like you can count on going into this year of those freshman group?
I don't know. They're all really talented. I'll tell you what, each guy's got special gifts. Neil Summers got real feel. I mean, Neil Summers can really feel the game, man. He can see it in a lot of ways. He's an unbelievable passer. Unassuming because he's big, man. He's big and he's wide. And like people think you got to be athletic, but he reminds me a lot of Cameron Krutwig at Loyola Chicago back in the day. And so Neil's got real feel. Sim can shoot the crap out of it, right? That guy can absolutely shoot it. And so he's a trigger weapon for you when you're out there on the floor. You got Gavin, he's Tarzan, man. That guy is built. He's college body ready already. 6'10" with a 40-inch vertical. Like, he's got a lot of upside to him. And then Nas, you talk about just a guy who's kind of what they call a 5-tool player in baseball. He's kind of got that in basketball, right? He can pass it, can handle it, he can shoot it, he can rebound it, he can make good decisions, right? So like those things matter as far as players are concerned. The biggest question you have with freshmen are, can they be consistent enough? And do they have the discipline to show up every single day? And can they make good decisions when it matters, right? Like, you got to stop doing some of the high school things and high school habits you had, regardless of where you came from. You could have came from an elite program. You're still going to have high school habits. You're not going to be ready for the speed of the game. So we spent a lot of time this summer and fall. These guys have got a ton of reps. I'm telling you, all these freshmen, like, they won't take reps off. They got every single rep right now. We haven't had a fully loaded 15-man roster yet just because of injuries. So every guy's got every rep in practice. It's like these guys are playing 40-minute games every time they step into our 2-hour practice. So from a cardiovascular standpoint, from a physiological standpoint, they're getting pushed. And then we've allowed them the freedom to make some mistakes because the summer was the time to do that. Now we got to tighten up the execution. The effort's right, the energy's right. But these guys got to, there's a chance that 3 to 4 of these guys could all play right now as freshmen. And that's saying how good they are, but it's also like, you know what, you got to do something with that opportunity as well.
Yeah, and you're going to get to see a bunch of them in these 2 exhibition games you got coming up the rest of here in October. Well, one about 10 days from now against, your pal Steve Smiley in Northern Colorado in Gillette. That should be a fun one. But then you guys obviously get the season underway on November 3rd against your alma mater, Northern State. I'm sure that's going to be a really special game for you. Just kind of what are you going to be looking for from these first couple games? Obviously, you guys got 4 home games to start the year. Once things get official, just kind of what are you going to be looking to see from your guys before you hit the road a couple times in November and December before Mountain West play?
Well, just there's knowns and unknowns right now for us. And the unknowns are like, what are we going to be like when we go compete with the lights on, right? Who's going to defend? Who's going to rebound? Who's going to do their job at a high level, right? Like it's all fine and dandy. You get to know each other in practice. The scouts out. Everybody knows who everybody is right now. We've been beating on each other since June 15th. It's what's going to happen when you got to step up across the line from somebody else, right? And that's, I think, the true test of a man is how he responds to a challenge. We got a lot of challenges coming up here, especially with the Big Sky defending champs, Coach Smiley's team down in Northern Colorado, the NAI defending national champs, College of Idaho in our exhibition games. I'm either the smartest or the dumbest coach in the world. I can't figure it out. Those 2 teams. And smart because you want to play good opponents, and it's dumb because you want to play good opponents, right? There's no confidence builders coming up right now. It's all that's coming up right now is a challenge. And the best part about these 2 exhibition games is they don't go on the record, right? 0-0, so you get a chance to see what your young guys can do when the heat is on. And so I just want to see if they'll compete, defend, and rebound. You don't know if the shot's going to go in every night, right? That's a variable. I think defense and rebounding is a constant. So can you compete? Can you defend and rebound? That's what I'm really looking for in this next couple of weeks here.
Yeah, and you mentioned, with Mountain West play, just kind of how grueling and how tough it is. Just kind of what do you feel like is going to be the key for you guys this year to kind of take that next step forward? Obviously, it's the last year of what this Mountain West is going to look like, and with Grand Canyon in the mix this year, that's another quality program that's going to be on the schedule at least once for everybody. Just kind of what's going to be the big key this year that's going to win the Mountain West in your opinion?
I just, for us to improve, and we never talk about winning in the league. We never do goals in our program. Here's why, Tyler. It's like, you ever watch Dodgeball? Vince Vaughn?
Yeah. Oh yeah, great movie. Yeah, I love that movie.
Comes in, right? And he goes, the reason why I don't say goals is because, I never get disappointed if I don't meet them, right? And so for us, like, what is the goal that if you ask every team in college basketball, you sit in a locker room on September 1st or whatever, and you say, what are your goals for season? Well, we want to win the league. And then we want to play in the NCAA tournament. So you'd ask every team in college basketball, 362 or 363 teams would say the same thing, right? So why do we even talk about that? We shouldn't talk about it because it's a prerequisite to going into the season.
It's a given. Yeah, it's a given.
Right? Like, if you're not stepping up to go win, like you play to win the game, Herm Edwards. You're not playing to win. I don't know what we're doing here. So we talk a lot about just, what is the enemy, right? What is the enemy of success, right? And that is focusing on the product. Like, we just want to win. Everybody want to win. We try to really stay process focused around here. And one of those processes for us has been taking care of the basketball. It's been a big point of emphasis for us this year. We were really bad last year at it. Shot profile's huge because you have shot selection turnovers and just regular turnovers. We were one of the worst transition defensive teams in the country last year because we turned the ball over, live ball turnovers, a lot. So taking care of the basketball, rather punt it in the stands, have a turnover punt, than turn that ball over live. All right, so taking care of the basketball, then shot profile, making sure we're shooting the right shots on our scale, on our shot selection sheet here. And if we can do those two things, I think, we can play with great pace and great thrust. But you can't play fast and you can't play, free or fearless if you're turning the ball over and you're not shooting the right shots. And I think our guys have done a good job of recognizing that. I just think the teams in this league in the last 5 years, the data is showing you that the teams that win this league or have a chance to win this league or play in the tournament, are one of two things. They're your top two in rebounding. All right. They're top two in defensive field goal percentage. Like the teams that win the league, they're top two in defensive field goal percentage, right? Or 3-point field goal percentage on the other side, right? So defensive rebounding and then being able to efficiently and effectively score the basketball. I mean, it's not like we're reinventing the wheel here. Saying rocket science, Tanner. It sounds pretty simple. If you defend at a high level, you rebound at a high level, and you do a good job of making open shots. Crap, I think you're probably going to win the game. You want to overcomplicate this crap. Inside of that, man, it's just energy, effort, and enthusiasm.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, you look at those San Diego State teams that have been really good, and it's always comes defense first. See Colorado State as well. It's always kind of been building from the defense. And New Mexico, like you said, super efficient offensive team last year when they won the league. So just before I get you out of here, I really appreciate the time. Once again, this has been a great start to this 25-26 season preview series here on Basketball in the Mountains. What is the gym you're going to maybe miss the most once the Mountain West kind of separates and we lose some of these teams here?
Well, I'm excited that we still get to, renew a little bit of the rivalry with CSU. I'm excited.
Yeah, of course. That's not going away. Away.
That would have been it's heartbreaking, man, because it's such a good series. Everybody likes Duke, North Carolina. I'm more partial to Wyoming and CSU, right? I think that's a great series. Obviously, you're losing. Spectrum has always been fun, man. I the Spectrum. You talk about like
so underrated. I feel like
the classiest and nastiest fans at the same time, right? Like they're classy, but they're nasty, and they're nasty in a classy way. So it's kind of this ironic,
right on top of you there too. It's such a cool environment. Yeah.
Viejas, man, I'm going to miss Viejas as well. I mean, it's just that's an extra mile. Boise's got it rocking up there. I just tell you, man, those guys. It's a really fun league, and to be honest, we're gaining. I mean, you talk about an environment at GCU. I mean, that's a great environment down there. I'm excited to have that environment in our league. It's just we've always prided ourselves in being an underrated arenas. Underrated. I mean, you get to go play at 7,220 feet. Nobody else has to deal with that in leagues, right? So you got the altitude advantage here, and you got a handful of leagues in the Mountain West. And that's why I call it the Mountain Best, man. You stay up after dark. Come watch our teams play at late night, man. Everybody loves that West Coast basketball late nights. You can't beat it. So it's going to be a hell of a year, man. Pretty excited to get this thing going.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it as well. That's the Mountain West is probably, if I had to list reasons I started this podcast, it's probably right up there because I just love the quality of basketball and the environments, like you said, always these late night crazy games. Students, fan bases are always so into it, and your guys up there too. I know you guys are really embracing the Dome of Doom nickname for Arena Auditorium this year. It's gonna be fun. Hopefully, you guys have that rocking early in the season. Well, Coach, I really appreciate you doing this and coming on Basketball in the Mountains. It means a lot, and best of luck this season, man. I really appreciate it.
Tyler, always a pleasure, never a chore, my man. I appreciate you, big dog.
All right, that'll do it from today's episode of Basketball in the Mountains. Thanks again to Coach Sundance Wicks from the Wyoming Cowboys to get us started with this 2025-26 season preview series. We will be back very shortly with some other coaches, writers that cover all these great teams to get you ready for just about every team. Like I said, hopefully we're going to try to cover all these teams before November 3rd when the season kicks off in just a couple weeks. We are less than a month away. I am super, super excited to have basketball back and once again, super grateful for Coach Wicks to give us a little bit of his time today to preview his season up there in Laramie. Make sure to check out what all those guys are doing up there. If you're in the area, make sure to support this program because, like I said, when Arena Auditorium is packed, it is loud, and it is a really, really fun environment that I hope to get up there at some point this season as well. So thanks, everybody, again, for listening on Spotify or Apple. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast there if you're doing so, or if you would like to watch the video version on my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment, like the video. All of that is super appreciated by me. So thanks, everybody, once again, and thanks to Coach Wicks once again, and stay tuned for what's next.